Hello, world. It's Carole from Viva Vacation, and we're back today with a new podcast. I'm joined for the second time on this podcast by Celine Benoit and Jean-François Leblanc, who have recently returned from an amazing, life-changing Antarctica expedition. And I'm so happy to have you back to chat about your adventure. Hi, guys.
Hello.
So we all know where Antarctica is on the map. It's on the very bottom of the globe, but very few people get to experience this remote part of Earth. And when we often talk about Antarctica, it almost feels like a mythical place. And the people who have gone have all said that it is indeed a magical place that have left a mark on them. So guys, let me start by asking you, what made you want to travel to Antarctica?
Actually, you go first.
So we have a long checklist of things we want to do, bucket list items, and Antarctica was one of them. We were pushing it like later in life, like, oh, let's just wait. And we said, do you know what? We only live once, so let's do it now. So we knew that more and more cruise line were going there, but the bigger ship were not touching the continent itself. Yeah. So we start looking at more like expedition cruise line that would bring us to Antarctica and also set foot on the continent. So that's how our process started with looking at it. Do you want to?
Yeah, and that's pretty much the same thing for me. Essentially, I had one of my friends. He had done it a couple of years ago on one of the major cruise lines, Holland America. And I remember him posting on Facebook about it, that it was too bad that he couldn't walk on land and whatnot. So I said, if I ever go there, I want to be able to walk on it as well, right? So a few years ago, we had gone to, we had done a cruise, South American cruise, and we had done Cape Horn. And we believed at that time that it was so isolated. So, why not try to do something that's even more isolated than that?
Yeah.
And obviously, Antarctica is going to be it, right?
Yeah.
So, and obviously, nature, it's so far, so different, right? I'm the type of guy that can say, I want to make it different than most people, right? Not most, but some, you get your typical cruises and whatnot. This was very different. And I think we proved it just by when we posted our pictures, people was, very, excited to see the pictures, right? So it is a lot.
Yeah, I always enjoy following you guys when you're you're on vacation. It's a way for another travel lover to experience it in a different way, if you will, by following others. So we had actually done, you guys and I, a little bit of research before you decided which company to go with. There is a lot of companies that offer expeditions, and you ended up choosing G Adventures, which is a Canadian company. I guess, how would you rate this company and your experience with them on your expedition?
For me, rate them, it would be 10 out of 10. Obviously, we are from Canada. We're going to try to support Canada first. Nothing negative to say about the other companies as well. Another option that we looked at was National Geographic's Antarctica Expedition, which were all awesome. We heard very wonderful things like the reviews and whatnot, but we wanted to support a Canadian company, which is why we chose G Adventure. We have one of our very good friends who only travels G Adventure. So it was we had heard many good things about them. Obviously, looking at the itineraries, the dates, the reviews on the ship as well, it was a no-brainer, right? So, and because we're Canadian, it was in Canadian funds, I think.
Yes,
right?
We were able to pay in Canadian, not in US dollars.
Yeah, so we were able to save some money as well. because of bank fees and whatnot, because of the money exchange and whatnot. So it was a no-brainer for us. Yep.
Yeah. No, great way to support a Canadian company is to decide where you spend your money, and that was a great choice by you guys. Celine, anything to add?
10 out of 10 for me as well. Like I had some not concerns, but
Doubts?
I was like, no doubts, but like you always see like National Geographic, G-Adventure down there was not as popular, especially like the size of the ship. And it was not like a typical cruise. It was really more like a expedition ship. It looks like I always say like an old Coast Guard ship, right? So I was a bit like maybe more curious than concerned. I was not disappointed. It was amazing. It had this even the best feeling like than on a regular cruise ship, because you felt like you were part of the staff too. So
Yeah.
And also, like in terms of what G-Adventure does for the economy of the local, that for me was a big deal because they do support the local places like in Ushuaia where we depart and all that. So I really like their mandate and vision.
Great. So you guys obviously love to cruise as much as I do. So it is a much smaller ship. So how many people were on the ship altogether? Maybe like with the staff, just approximately.
There were about 128 passengers. That's the customers, and about, I think it was 50 staff.
Yeah, about 50 staff, I would say, yeah.
But
Wow.
didn't feel like 50 because we were seeing all the same faces all the time, but it includes like the captain, crew, and like the engineer and all that we haven't like really see. We saw like the people in the kitchens and the restaurant and the rooms. We got close with pretty much everyone because again, you're such in a small ship.
Yeah.
You pretty much know everybody after 10 days. And they're very good at merging the staff and the customers as well. So yeah, okay. So we were a very small group for a very big ocean, a very small ship for a very big ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, and the ratio that you mentioned about the staff to the passenger is quite impressive. One of the things I remember you telling me, Celine, is that there was actually a doctor on board, and one of the passengers had a little accident, and they were able to patch them up and continue like enjoying their trip. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, and the doctor was very, he was on excursion, like making sure everybody was getting down a hill or whatever, that nobody got hurt. So
yeah, you feel like well taken care of.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So can you talk to me about the flight path to get you to South America? It feels like it would be a long one.
Yeah, it is a bit long. For us, we went to the Chilean Patagonia before, so Torres del Paine. So we flew from Toronto to Santiago, Chile.
Okay.
Then, direct from Toronto. They also offer a direct flight from Montreal, a seasonal flight from Montreal. And then we flew to, it's called Punta Arenas. It's part of the Chilean Patagonia. Then we spent a week in that region, and then we took a bus. And I'm saying that you don't need to do that if you want to go to Ushuaia. We took a bus from Punta Arenas to Ushuaia, which is the last city of the world, they called, on the bottom tip of South America.
The end of the world.
Yeah. But the usual travel would be Toronto to Buenos Aires, which they have a direct flight from Toronto. And then Buenos Aires to Ushuaia, which is a 3-hour and 30 flight with their national airline. That would be probably the best. But when you're up there, it's nice to also see the Chilean Patagonia, the Patagonia and the Argentinian Patagonia, which is beautiful.
Okay.
It was a very nice part of our trip.
Cool. So you mentioned, where did you mention that you stayed before your cruise?
It was Punta Arenas. We did the Chilean Patagonia.
Yeah, but right before, I can never pronounce it. How many days were you there before leaving?
We went there. We were there before on a cruise port back in 2014. So we wanted to spend more time. It's a beautiful area. So we spent about 5 days in that area, and it was more than enough to do what we wanted to do. I would recommend renting a car if you want to see outside the city, just because there's a lot of parks around and scenic, unless you need to do like an excursion every day. But for us, we rented a car for a few days and we're able to see most of it.
Give you more flexibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So now I want to talk about the famous Drake Passage. I saw your video that you posted, and I think you said it was considered a 3 out of 10. I cannot imagine an 8 or a 9. So talk to me about that.
So the way that it works for the Drake is it's known as the roughest body of ocean in the world, because it's where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Pacific Ocean. So you're right in the middle and you're going south towards Antarctica. So it's either what they call the Drake Lake, which is very calm, or the Drake Shakes, which is total opposite, essentially. So so on the first, when we left, so when we board the ship, there's a briefing, and they tell you that they give the medication for that prevents having like being seasick, whatever, motion sickness. Thank you. So the doctor, he does a speech, and it's free medication, and it's kind of like unlimited, but there's an amount that you should be able to take, type of thing. So you go up and see them, and it really works. We've met a few people that did not take them, that were not. But most people that we've met, I would dare say that they did take it and they were fine. Some people did take it as well and they were sick as well. So it depends, everybody. So sure enough, we go, and what's the name of that channel when you leave? And
the Beagle Channel.
The Beagle Channel is like the channel from Ushuaia. As you leave the channel, you enter. Basically you pass Cape Horn, and that's when you're in the Drake Passage. So on our way, we had a 3 out of 10, and we kept on asking questions. It was rough, but not that rough. You asked the question, what would you do if it would be an 8 out of 10? They would not go if it's over a 6. Okay. Especially that size of ship, because it would be too dangerous. Bigger cruise ships, I don't know. We didn't talk about that, but yeah. So 3 was fine. The medication gives you a lot of drowsiness, so we spent half the day sleeping,
which was nice. It was a relaxing day.
Yeah, which was really relaxed, and I dare say most of the passengers were doing the same thing. Not that it wasn't safe, but it wasn't fun walking around the ship, type of thing, right? So we just our beds. There was movies you could watch, yeah, so stuff like that. Plus, we had a window. We could look at the, obviously the scene, and which was not too much to see, but it was all right. On our way back, we got pretty lucky. Actually, we had the Drake Lake, and I remember the staff saying, "We've never seen it this calm before."
Wow.
Some had been there for years, right? So it didn't last too long like that. Like after a few hours, it became a little bit more rough, but it was maybe 1 or a 2 or something like that. It was not. We've seen videos. Personally, that was my concern. I was a little bit not scared, but hesitant. Probably scared, I guess. But it all turned out for the best. If I could go back, I would know. And I said, no, there's nothing to worry about, right? I mean, these ships have been going there for years. And not to jinx it, but everything is fine, right? So, and again, they have good radar systems. They check everything, and if they think that it's not safe, they're simply not going to go. They're going to wait a couple of hours or a couple of days or whatever. We were able to leave actually a little bit earlier on the last day, and actually he was going faster as well to avoid some wind. So, and we had briefings every day, which was awesome.
Yeah, about the weather and all
Yeah,
that.
every day he says, this is what we're doing. This is something that G Adventure did. I'm not sure about the other cruise ship, but every night we had briefing, and they were able to give us the upcoming weather and how high the waves were on the Drake and everything, right? So it was pretty good. Yeah.
So like we had a Drake Lake, but I just want to see the Drake Lake is not like the Bay of Chediac, very it's all like always like a little disc, but you don't have to hold yourself on the wall, kind of, right?
Yeah.
And the captain always checked to see, okay, well, we may go faster because again there were a storm and we were expecting 5 out of 10. So, but by the time we got to the 5 out of 10, we were at the Beagle Channel, so we didn't have that for long, right? So they're very cautious about that because they want people to have the best experience. I was a bit hesitant, and that's why sometimes we were not like considering G, because there were other airlines that you could fly. But I'm not regretting not flying because we had the experience of a lifetime, and that was part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, part of the adventure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, talk to me about, like, you talk about the weather. So, how cold was it? Was it windy when you got there? And what about the constant daylight?
So, in terms of, I'll start with the daylight. We were in Norway in June, so we saw the midnight sun up there, and it was actually very fun to see it there. We're early sleepers, and with the medication, so for us, we didn't see like the 1 a.m. type of sun, but we saw a lot of pictures, and it was just like the sunset goes like this and goes like this again. So it was always light out. It's just different type of lighting.
Okay.
It's kind of special. Because they do offer camping on the experience, and you can pay more for that. And definitely the camping people saw it. You not necessarily go there for sleep, you go there for the experience.
Yeah.
We didn't have any wind. Like,
no wind.
Which were, for me, that's what I was expecting the most, the wind. And it was so calm, especially when we were in bays. The closer we got back to the Drake Passage, more wind was because of like they didn't have, but it's such like a rocky mountain terrain that the wind gets stuck, right?
Right.
So it was beautiful. In terms of weather, 3-5 degrees every day.
3 to 5.
Wow.
3 to 5 degrees every day.
Wow.
Even one day we were like walking without our coats.
Yeah, it was too warm.
It was too warm. So,
is that typical for that time of year, or are we talking global warming effect?
Based on the picture I saw the weeks before, a lot of folks also had that experience.
Okay.
As I think it's a bit part of both.
Okay.
It's still like a very high sea type of terrain, but we asked the question if they've seen like the glacier retreats, and some people saw difference between the years, but it's less like obvious than example Banff or whatever. They have no pollution, right? So
yeah. And Jean-François, what did a typical expedition day look like?
So in that cruise ship, I'm not sure how it works with others, but they split the 128 passengers into four groups. So there was the group 1 was like the Gentoos, group 2 was the humpbacks, group 3 was the albatross, and group 4 was leopard. Yeah. So essentially, it's 4 mammals or 4
animals we find in Antarctica.
Sea animals, yeah. So they would say, okay, group 1 Gen 2s, everybody meet at the dock type of thing. So it's on the third floor, and so they avoid the big crowds type of thing, right? So one group was like 25 people, something like that. So all the Gen 2s would go. We were in the humpbacks. So when they called our group, then we would go line up and wait for our turn, essentially. So Antarctica is a protected land, right? So you're trying to avoid as much having bacteria, seeds, dust from other continents. So what they'll do is when you leave the ship, you have to step in a like in a big barrel type of thing, not deep, like probably that deep, with some like bacterial
like
liquid,
just to protect this
exactly,
animal.
to kill the bacteria from your boots, and then there you go. You go onto the Zodiac, and usually it was like 5 or 6 minutes ride, which was really nice. And the staff is super interactive with you, so they talk about the wildlife, a bird. There was a specialist on birds. He was from Alaska, so he would give his spiel on birds. There was a lady. She was a specialist in whales, whale sounds and everything. And everybody had their thing that if you wanted to know, you go up and see them, and then you ask your questions. And they were all going ashore with the customers or the passengers. So you say, oh, I got a question about whales. Well, go see her, right? You go see James for the birds type of thing, right? So it was very well organized. When we would get there, there was a staff that would leave right away and go do a trail and walk around. Where is it safe? So, and then we would have our breakfast. And when we would be ready to go, well, our trail was already marked type of thing, right?
Okay.
So, and we did that. So we would do one at around 8:30 a.m. or something like that. And then we would come back on the ship, have our lunch. And then as we were all having our lunch, the captain was sailing the ship to our next destination. And we would leave the ship twice a day. And that's pretty much it. That was it was a typical day of the excursions. And but it was the best time, right? So
yeah, I can imagine.
I wouldn't change it for anything. The excursion, the places where we would stop, you would not. There's no buildings there. We could see one time. Did we see like a research station? But it was quite far away, and there was supposedly 3 people in there, and from England, I think. Anyways, but that's it. Other than that. You didn't see. Now this week or last week, obviously we're still following the page, and they were somewhere else, and they actually went to see a research station, or you could walk around or something like that. We didn't do that, but that was a longer cruise, right? So, but still an option, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So how close would you come to the wildlife? Was it like further away or?
So by law, you're not allowed to be within 5 meters, 5 meters of a penguin or any type of wildlife. If they walk towards you, you have to back up or you have to move. Yeah, at sometimes it was impossible to do that. Either it was unsafe or whatever. But everywhere that we stopped, there was a colony of penguins. There's,
like we saw at least 20,000 penguins.
Oh yeah, even more.
Even more than that.
Even more than that, yeah. So actually, I jumped a step, but so we would go ashore, walk around, and they would say, okay, if you back at 11 a.m., you can do a Zodiac tour for like half hour. If you're back after 11, well, you're going straight to the ship. So we would not rush it, but we would walk a little bit faster than some others in order to do the entire hike and come back and then do 30 minutes of Zodiac or even 45 minutes. And that was my favorite part.
Yeah,
because
we really love it.
Yeah, they would, drive around or float around, and you could hear some
the glacier.
The glaciers cracking and then falling. Oh man, really cool, right?
Yeah.
whales. We saw
very
a
close,
lot of
actually.
wildlife. So that was very cool. And one time we stopped, we were right next to a whale and it just popped out and it made what they call
The trumpet sound.
the trumpet sound.
Okay.
It really scared me. I thought it was a zodiac that it was hitting her boat or something like that, and it was the noise. But no, it was communicating in a way that that's the noise that came out. It was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those types of encounters must be extremely special.
And we had a lot of them. Something I wanted to add is like that's the ship do provide a coat.
Yeah.
So you don't have to bring your own coat and boots. So the only thing you need to provide for yourself is waterproof pants. And I remember before we went, I said, do I need like snow pants? No, like just a shell is more than enough. Yeah. So, and you can bring back the coat with you at home. And the boots aren't still on the ship, but yeah, we did 4 days of 2 landings per day. One of the day we did the cold plunge. Yeah. So we jumped in the ocean. That was very fun. Yeah. And one day was more like a expedition cruise, but it was one of our highlight of the cruise actually. Yeah. So
the like she said, the cold plunge. I wanted to be the first one doing it because out of 128 passengers, because I didn't want to see the faces of the leaving. And never mind, I'm not doing it, right? So half hour before I jumped, there was orcas swimming around. Oh, wow. But they're all about safety. They said, no, the orcas are gone. Who wants to jump? And I'm like, I'll go first. Really not that bad, actually. It was.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, what my next question was going to be, did you feel at any point that anything that was kind of risky or pushed you out of your comfort zone? But I'm assuming the plunge was maybe outside of your comfort zone. Just, I don't know. Not really?
No, for me, because you're strapped, right? So before you put 2 employees, they have you strapped around your waist and they start pulling you as soon as you're in the water. You can force and say, hey, I want to swim around for like a few seconds. I know I could do that, so I climbed right back on board. But looking at the other people, some were swimming around, and I should have done that, but I didn't know I was allowed to do that. What were you gonna say?
So I think the experience itself, like with the Drake can be very intimidating when you look online, right? Yeah. So I think that was our biggest concern at first, because we were looking at maybe doing the Drake by flying the Drake, not but when you do it and the experience in between is such an extraordinary experience, I forget about the Drake itself. Because it's so worth it. There's one landing that we did. It was because the weather was amazing. They decided to go a place that they'd never been. Yeah. And no ship went there. So even like the G-Adventure ship was not getting close to the land because they didn't know how like the
ocean bottoms.
The ocean bottom would be. So we had to go into the Zodiac for an hour in big swell. Yeah. So we were like, okay, is it going to be worth it? And it was like, even the guides were amazed on what we seen. And it was so raw because nobody went there before. Yeah. So it was like iceberg all over the place, whales. It was just.
Yeah. So basically anybody that goes to Antarctica, you have to make your research before. You have to register. Like if you would want to go to Antarctica, legally you have to register and say where you want to go, where you want to walk around, like your landing and everything. And that's been like that for a few years. And there's a website that you can do, and they can track who has been there in the last 20 years. That's legally registered. And in the last 20 years or whatever that it was, there had nobody that had ever registered there. So the tour guys was like, it's possible that somebody came in before, but legally we don't think so. So, but yeah, I mean that's probably what I would answer as well. I remember at that specific spot, the swell was so high, and like when we were boarding the Zodiac, it was like 1 second it was level right next to you. You could jump on the Zodiac, and then 2 seconds after you were 5 feet over, right?
Yeah, I had
or 5 feet
water
under.
above my knees.
Yeah, 5 feet under,
Yeah.
right? So, but the staff, like Matt and Sarah, married couple, they were the leaders of the expedition. They were both from Vancouver area. Most staff on the expedition was from Vancouver. Not the staff, but the expedition crew. Awesome people, very professional, safety.
Yeah.
So as much as somebody says, oh, I don't feel safe doing that, they're probably not going to do it anyways, right?
Yeah.
At that point, when I saw the swells going up and down, and I said, oh my, that looks kind of dangerous to go in the Zodiac. It was totally fine. You just have to trust the crew. They've been doing it for a long time, and they're all about, like, safety's priority, basically, right?
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
So when I heard that, I felt very at ease, type of thing, right? So
Cool.
Just to clarify, when you say you need to register, it's not it's the ship that register. It's not the passenger. We didn't have to do anything.
You answered my question. I figured that was the case, but I wasn't sure.
you don't do that.
Yeah, it's the ship. We need to do that.
Okay, cool. So guys, if there are people out there who would like to do this type of expedition, is there any tip you can give them, or is there anything you would do differently? What would you say to them?
Yeah, bring sunscreen.
Yes, bring sunscreen.
Oh, really?
Lip balm with sunscreen in it.
Yeah. So we spoke to the doctor. She burned all in her face, her lips and everything. And we went to see the doctor, and the doctor said half of the ship was sunburned because you don't expect it, right? So what we learned on the ship is at either extremities of the planet, the Arctic and the Antarctica, the ozone layer is very thin, more than other places around the world. So because of that, you burn very easily. No. So we did not bring any sunscreen. So the company itself that was highly recommended, it was the chapsticks, which you can buy here, and that's what they were giving away on the ship in case you didn't have any, because they're sort of product, and it actually that helps for stuff like that. So
I think for me, the only thing that I would change is not stress about the Drake Passage. Because I was stressing. I remember the day before we saw the ship arrive at the port, and we were all analyzing, are we going to be okay on the Drake? So small. But it was such like, I don't know why we were worrying. There was so much good with this, like the passengers, making sure we were okay. Like, we know a girl that was very sick, and they take care of her. Like, it's nothing to be worrying about if you want to have that experience. And I'm so glad we did it now.
Actually, I wanted to add something as well. That specific cruise, I'm not sure about the other ones, but G Adventure is nothing fancy, right? It's an older ship. Everybody gets to know each other. There's no fancy nights. You can go there wearing a t-shirt and a pair of shorts inside, doesn't matter. So I'm happy that we didn't do this, but we did bring some clothes just in case. If I were to go back, I would not bring a golf shirt. It's not necessary. I wouldn't bring like a dress pants. You're not going to wear that. So if you can, actually, we do carry on, and I know that's a bit exceptional, but I'm happy that we did, because we met a few people that, I don't know if it's the airline companies or whatever, lost their luggages. We met somebody as we were entering the ship. We met somebody that was exiting the ship, and they had lost their luggages. The previous trip before us was 15 days. They had lost it before, and as they were exiting and getting back to the airport, their luggage was still lost. Wow. So essentially, they never got their luggage. We made some good friends from Texas. Same thing for them. They lost their luggages, never got them. And actually, we met another couple. They had it at the very last minute. They had to run to the airport, get it. But if it could have been a thing of 5 minutes, they would have lost their luggage because the ship was leaving. But they had to go in town and buy a couple $1,000s worth of clothes just in case that there's so having said all of that, if you're not worried about clothes and you're not fancy, just do carry on. Bring the bare minimum, just as long as it's warm clothes, and there's not going to be any fancy night for you to enjoy, right? So, it's very casual, right?
You're on a small ship, but really it's an expedition. It's not a cruise like we know them and we do them often. So I can
and like I said about National Geographics and Quark, and I don't know about that, but for us that's what it was.
Okay.
It was attractive for us too because we like those more laid back kind of cruise. So and even for solo traveler, they offer solo rate. They were paired, like we met a lot of especially women that was there by themselves, and they were paired with someone, and they had a blast. They had 2 hot tubs on the ship, so it was kind of nice on those more like relaxing days. They were not open during the break, fortunately, because it would have been crazy. But I think if you're willing, even if you have mobility issues, we saw a few people like at any group, like group age group, there's no limit. Like they really want everybody to have a good experience and enjoy the beautiful Antarctica.
Well, it sounds amazing. I really want to thank you guys for sharing your experience. And I can't help but ask, what do you think is going to be your next big adventure?
It's not we think it's happening. We only have like 5 trip plans. So, Carole.
Any plans on doing something similar to this, but in another part of the world?
We would like to do the Arctic now. I know G's doing it, but not in the section of the Arctic that we would like. So we're probably going to contact you for 2028. Now we want to see the Arctic and see the polar bears and so on and so forth. But it gives you, I felt like for me when I left, it changed the way I travel and the way I see the world, because I've seen that. I know it sounds cheesy, but when people were saying that, I'm like, oh, it changed my life. And I get it.
No, very, very special trip of a lifetime. I thank you again for sharing, and for the people out there listening. If you have been inspired and would like to do an expedition to Antarctica, please reach out to me or any of the Viva travel advisors. And even Celine and Jean-François, if we have people that might be interested, maybe I can even, get them in contact with you just to get them comfortable. I really appreciate that. So until we speak again, thank you again, and Viva Vacation.
Yay!
Bye-bye.